Welcome to Quack and Co, the board game channel that's 10 minutes or less guaranteed, which means you don't have long to subscribe. And today we're going to be talking to you about Uprising, Curse of the Last Emperor, a game that Max and I covered a prototype of over a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
This is the final production copy, and guess what? They're coming back to Gamefound, well, now as you're watching this video, for reprint and wave 2, meaning new expansions, new modularity, new nemesis for you to fight, new, well, cacophonies for you to experience. This is going to be...
Is this a flower jar?
It's a flower vase.
I thought it was a mason
This
jar.
is a 4X cooperative experience, one of the only of its kind that performs or operates through a series of actions where you use asymmetric player powers, level up your tableau, spawn units onto the board, explore, establish havens that are going to be your microcosm or your community, and then do your very best to hold bay the different encroaching... You're both so distracting. Do your very best to hold at bay the different encroaching, what are they called?
Chaos.
Legions, from the outer
Hordes.
frozen vesticular sections, and also keep down the Imperial Legions that are swelling out from the center capital in the middle of the city.
The entire time that you're talking, I'm just sitting here like the guy from Good Burger, like, I know some of these words.
This is Max.
Microcosm.
This is Max from Table Knots. This is Devin Talks Tabletop. Don't subscribe to either of them.
Encroaching
Instead,
madness.
subscribe here on Quack and Co.
That's fair.
The cool thing about this game is that it's going to be a 4X experience that works as a cooperative one, right? There's also, though, going to be a lot of kind of chaos mitigation that you're doing. It sort of functions as a pandemic-style game scaled up to another level. It's easy, it's accessible, it's approachable. The rulebook...
Easy.
It's easy to table. It's easy to table. It's easy to table, it's accessible, it's approachable, and it is also...
I haven't seen the gameplay.
brutal. Max has never won.
Never.
A single
Neither
game.
have I.
Played it 5 times?
Played it
4
one
times?
We've got a lot of voices here. In this video, we're going to give you our best and worst. So, starting with
Try the
Max.
flower jar.
I love it. You're trying to put it out, Jesse.
Devin, what is your... From your experience so far, you're currently drinking out of a flower vase. What is the best thing about Uprising?
I think that this is a remarkably accessible...
Your answer should have just been Duncan Hall.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
See, but this is a good plug. You're going to have to go watch the gameplay to even understand that inside joke.
See?
I just want the camera to be doing a slow zoom into my face.
It's magic. You have the editing power.
It's magic!
Okay, what is the best thing about this game, Devin?
I think that this is remarkably accessible for what it is achieving in terms of like the gameplay,
100%.
all of the things that are going on. It's actually relatively easy to parse and to learn.
Yeah.
It's not something that feels overwhelming from a first player perspective. I mean, this was my first, well, this is my second game, but this was, you know, my first experience tonight with this game. We played twice, and I don't feel like I'm too far behind you all, even though you've got more plays in than I do.
Yeah.
Which I think is, you know, a testament to the level of balancing, playtesting, design work that went into making this as functional and as accessible as possible for how big of an experience it is. Also, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Production's nuts.
It's nuts.
No, this is Uprising.
Max,
Yeah, man.
best thing about this game?
I think that, yeah, you can have your mason jar back. I mean, vase. I think that this game does such an incredible job of providing you with a vast array of emotions.
This is Uprising.
This is Uprising, yeah.
It's not vast.
I have felt incredibly high highs and then some devastating lows.
Yeah.
And I think that this is not going to be a game for everyone because of that, because a lot of it is swayed by dice. But if you're someone who can just enjoy the game and enjoy the epic moments that it really, it's second to none as far as that goes, I think that this is a game that you'll love. If you're someone who wants no luck, if you're someone who wants to be able to plot and plan every move, this is not that. But if you're someone who enjoys this gameplay of the dice rolling and the high highs and low lows and the defeats and the victories, like all that.
Those like cacophonic microcosms
where,
of joy. Where it's encroaching, mad, globular luck.
That's right.
All over the emanating
macabre
forces.
fantasy world. Yeah. This is that.
Oh
boy. Yeah. Jesse, what's the best
for
thing?
myself, the best thing about Uprising is going to be the fact that outside of things like campaign games or dungeon crawls, I don't know something that is quite as evocative as this game is. When it gets to the table, this is highly thematic, tells incredible stories like Max is displaying, but also has amazing production, fantastic artwork, great lore behind it. I think everything goes together here to make a one-shot experience that's both accessible, like Devin pointed out, and highly thematic and immersive, like you're pointing out. It is chaotic, and that'll bring us to the thing that's the worst about it.
Yep.
But for an experience, for a one-shot thematic experience, like you said, I think it arguably might be second to none.
Yeah.
With its competitors being heavy campaigns and heavy dungeon crawls.
Yeah, as far as a one-stop shop for something that is pretty easy, accessible to get into, there's nothing that has such a great level of easy to table and incredibly high highs and low lows. Like, otherwise it's a campaign game, like you're saying.
We've got a few minutes left. The worst thing for me about this title, and I'm going first just in case they run long.
Yeah, it's because so you can steal the one that we've all want to say.
The worst thing about this game is going to be
think about what I want to say
the
now.
sheer overwhelming difficulty of it. This is a unbeatable, unbroken game, and it's partially due to randomness and luck, but it's also just unmitigated in the fact that it is throwing dice after dice at you. It is throwing enemies and hordes and drawing cards, and there's just so much happening here on the table. I'm not drinking after you, so you can have the rest of that, I suppose. But you're about to go to bed. That was a bad idea. It's throwing so much at you on the table here that you're always just trying to balance the scales. And in a game like Pandemic, that's fine, because it's a little bit more accessible. It's a little bit more intro-friendly. But in a game like Uprising, sometimes that can feel bad. And I do find that after investing an hour and a half into a single gameplay, you have something crazy happens that just steals the victory from you. It can be a less than ideal experience. Guys, you've got a minute left.
I wasn't even thinking. I was just too busy passing around the drinks. Devin, go.
I think that maybe the worst part about this is that even though it is an incredibly accessible game, I think that sometimes there's just too much going on. There's too much going on with the activation, because you have to manage the Imperial Legion, you have to manage the Chaos Horde. Eventually, if you add the Arch Nemesis expansion, you have to do that. You have to decide how many chapters you're going to do. One chapter is going to be different. You got the quests, you got the items. I think it's got so much visually and mechanically on the board that you have to juggle, that if you're not ready to accommodate for all of those things, you're going to be a little frustrated with all that you have to manage.
I do agree.
Yeah.
There is a little bit too much going on, and you will get frustrated with all you have to manage.
Is that?
Your turn, Max.
Is that what he said?
I think he's saying that about us. That's okay. The good thing is we're out of time here at Quack and Co. because everything here is under 10 minutes guaranteed. We'll see you next time.
No, it's not. We still have plenty of time.
It just hit 10 minutes.
Yeah, you got like 20 seconds left. What's your worst thing?
Dang it, I don't know. You guys took them.
You got no worst thing?
It's really good. Okay, best and worst. It's really good. Best and worst thing.
The worst thing is how good it is?
Set up and tear down.
It's not even that complicated.
Set up and tear down.
They put great inserts in the box.
But it's a big, massive... Look at the table space that this thing takes up.
You asked him to give you an
What do you
option.
want from me?
He gave it to you and you said, no, it's not good enough.
It's just a lot. It's a big game and a big box and a big table space. And that's not going to be a problem for everyone, but that's going to be a problem for some.
Oh boy!
Already cut you off.